ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमहायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 163 विज्ञानमयमुख्येषु कोशेष्वन्यत्र चैव हि अन्तस्तिष्ठन् यमयति तेनान्तर्यामितां व्रजेत्. So we continue with this, Vidyaranya Swami continues with this Tatpadartha Vichara of this Mahavakya of Tattvamasi, and he is now talking about this, the immediate meaning of this Tatpada, which is Ishvara. And Ishvara as such consists of three components. One is a Maya, then Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam, and then Chaitanyam, of course, Bimba Chaitanyam. So sometimes all the three components are not mentioned, and they mention only one thing, that is Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam. But that one Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam, when you mention, all the three are involved. Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam, Maya is involved. Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam, so the Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam is involved. And then Pratibhimba means Bimba will be there. So that is also, So even if you don't mention three and mention one, all the three are mentioned. And therefore, that is how sometimes instead of saying three separately, they mention one thing. Anyway, and that is the definition of Ishvara, basically. But even then, such a definition is given. Well, all the three things are there. We have to understand. And so this is, and then of course Vidyaranya talked about Maya portion between verse 121 to 160 almost, and then he elaborately talked about the nature of Maya. Several shlokas have been, regarding that has been mentioned, and now he talks about this Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanyam Ishvara, and then in that we said definitely Ishvara having a superior attributes. Then for what are the superior attributes, that has been mentioned. And through the Shruti, of course, Mandukya Shruti is there, which mentions about this. Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvajnaha, Eshontaryami, Esha Yonihi Sarvasya, etc. etc. Mantra number 6 in Mandukya. And so, Esha Yonihi Sarvasya. Sarvasya means Sarvasya Karana. Yonihi means Karana. So of these four descriptions, Vidyaranya has already explained the first two, right? Sarveshwaraha and Sarvajnaha. Both have been mentioned. And now he is entering into a third attribute, which is superior attribute, Sarvantaryami. In fact, compared to Sarvajna and Sarveshwaraha, this attribute is a bit difficult to comprehend. Because the definition of Antaryami goes in several sentences, And so it is Sarvagnya means we can immediately say, well, he Sarvam Janati, the Sarvagnya, etc., etc. But this is a little elaborate definition. And so Sarvantaryami, the translation is inner controller, etc. So, inner control of everything. So Vidyaranya Swami wants to very elaborately explain this word with the help of one Upanishad called Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and one Smriti also. Even in fact Bhagavad Gita itself we can quote. The whole chapter 7 is talking about this Sarvantaryami or Antaryami. Anyway, so this Upanishad Pramanam, well, he chooses his Antaryami Brahmanam. And as I mentioned that the whole section, one section is there. The 7th section of the 3rd chapter. So 3-7, entire chapter, all the mantras. Not an entire chapter, entire section of the 3rd chapter. Well, all the mantras talk about this Antaryami Brahmanam. Antaryami. So it's called Antaryami Brahmanam. And so here in this 163 verse 63 he is giving an introduction to this word Antaryami. So Vijnanamaya Mukhyeshu Kosheshu. Antaryami is present behind all the koshas. And what are they? Like Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, etc. and Annamaya. This Vijnanamaya Mukhyeshu. So Kosheshu. So all these koshas are there, and all 4 koshas. And of course 5th kosha has not been mentioned. And 5th kosha should not be taken because the 5th kosha is one which should be included in the definition of Antaryami. So basically this particular Anandamaya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam alone is called Antaryami or Ishvara. Karana Sharira. So Karana Sharira Pratibimbita Chaitanyam is called Antaryami, and therefore that 5th kosha, Anandamaya kosha, has not been mentioned as such. So here Anandamaya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam or Karana Sharira Pratibimbita Chaitanyam, in which the Antaryami, that is the Antaryami, resides in this all 4 koshas. And not only this, he is in all the koshas in this every individual. Anyatra cha. So not only this in Adhyatma. So because these koshas are of an individual. And so in these 4 koshas, well, it has been, it is there, Antaryami is there, resides in these 4 koshas. So that is in Adhyatma. But also Anyatra, means also in the Samashti Devatas also Antaryami is present. Also in the entire universe, all the objects, also this Antaryami is present. So behind this Adhyatmam, Adhibhutam and Adhidevam, all the 3 places, well, this is there. And there we have seen the example also of all the 3, Adhibhuta, Adhideva and Adhyatma. We have seen the examples also. The eye is called Adhyatma, right? And then Surya Devata is called Adhidevam. And this color, Rupam or form, is Adhibhutam. So and then ear is called Adhyatma. Then Dik Devata is called Adhidevam. And Shabda is called, Adhibhutam. So in Tattva all these things have come. Shrotrasya Dik Devata, etc., etc. Tvacho Vayuhu, Chakshushaha Suryaha, and Asanayaha Varunaha, Granasya Ashvinav, like that. So these Devatas have been mentioned there. And senses, definitely, because Granam is a sense of smell. And then Chakshu, etc., all this. So that is Adhyatma. And then Granasya Ashvinav, so Adhidevam. Ashvinav, so Devata, Ashwini Kumaras. And Adhibhuta also has been mentioned in Tattva. Shrotrasya Vishayaha Shabda Grahanam, Tvacho Vishayaha Sparsha Grahanam, etc. So Adhibhuta also has been mentioned. Anyway, so all the 3 are Adhidevam, Adhibhutam and Adhyatma. Adhyatmam, senses, let's say. Adhidevam is Devatas, Adhishthan Devatas, Adhibhutam, the sense objects. And well, behind all these 3, the Antaryami is there, or Antaryami is present in all the 3. In fact, the whole world is divided into 3, Adhidevam, Adhibhutam and Adhyatmam. And well, Antaryami is present in all the 3. So Anyatra refers to Adhibhuta and Adhideva. because Vijnanamaya Kosheshu etc. The koshas are nothing but a Adhyatma. And Anyatra means Adhibhuta and Adhideva. Antastishtan Yamayati. So remaining in all the three. Kosheshu Anyatra Cha. And Antastishtan Yamayati means remaining within. Yamayati means controls. Tena, because of this reason, Tena Karanena, because of that reason, Antaryamitam Vrajet, Ishvara gets the title Antaryami. So this is the introduction of Antaryami. As I told you, several verses will be there explaining this Antaryami. And now he is entering into the topic of this Antaryami, which is the superior attribute of Ishvara. So based on Mandukya Upanishad, 6th mantra. And Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvagnaha, Esha Antaryami. Sarvagnaha and Sarveshwara has been explained. Okay, verse 164. Buddhau tishtan antarosyaha diya nikshascha dhivapuhu dhiyam antaryameti ittevam vedena ghoshitam. Vedena Goshitam. Vedena means refers to Antaryami Brahmanam. By Veda it has been proclaimed. This Antaryami has been proclaimed by the Veda, means by this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, by the Shruti. So we will come to know about Antaryami. We will come to know about the 5 features of Antaryami through this Veda, through the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And those 5 features he is mentioning now. So 5 features of Antaryami are mentioned in Brihadaranyaka in every level. Means in each Adhyatma also has 5 features, Adhibhuta also has 5 features, Adhideva also has 5 features. So in each case 5 features are given, and Vidyaranya Swami takes one particular case as a sample, and he takes it from Adhyatma itself. I told you in Adhyatma at every level. In Adhyatma, whatever has there in Adhyatma, everything has these 5 features of the Antaryami, and therefore Antaryami is present. So from Adhyatma he is taking a buddhi now, and he is explaining all the 5 features of Antaryami in buddhi, and therefore ultimately he will say the Antaryami is present in buddhi. So from the standpoint of this intellect, how do we understand this Antaryami that he is explained in this verse? So very interesting 5 features are there. First feature is Buddhau Tishthan. So it's all depend upon Brihadaranyaka Upanishad only. So I will tell you one mantra. Several mantras are there, but lastly one mantra I will tell. And then so we can understand all the 5 features have been mentioned by Vidyaranya based on Brihadaranyaka Upanishad only. Anyway, Buddhau Tishthan, this Antaryami is one which stands in buddhi, which resides in buddhi. We have already just seen in this our Mundaka Upanishad, right? So, this Esha Atma Brahmapure Divye Vyomni Pratishtitaha. They are also the same. Pra plus Tishtha Dhatu. So that it resides in buddhi, which indwells in the buddhi. And so Buddhau Tishthan, I am not going to explain right now, because each feature he will explain in detail. All the 5 features he will explain in detail. So except right now that this consciousness, that basically ultimately it's consciousness, right? Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanyams will reside in the buddhi. Ishvara resides in the buddhi. So you may feel that how can it resides in buddhi? It is all, it is all pervading. Well, so we'll wait for Vidyaranya to clarify. I can clarify, and I have already clarified in Mundaka Upanishad, but let's wait. Second feature is, asyaha antaraha. Asyaha, buddhehe, antaraha. Asyaha is indicating a feminine noun, that is buddhi. Asyaha antaraha, it is inside the buddhi. It resides in buddhi, one. Second feature, it is inside. not outside, it's inside. So this is a second feature. Means it's inside, it is hidden, it is behind the buddhi, etc. Antara means inside. Okay. Third feature, diya anikshaha. It cannot be known through buddhi. Buddhi agocharaha. Buddhi avedyaha, you can say. Buddhi aprameyaha. Means it cannot be known by the buddhi. Diya anikshascha. So diya plus anikshaha. Right? Chakara we can keep it separate. Diya plus anikshaha. Ikshaha means knowable, objectifiable. Well, anikshaha, not knowable, not objectifiable, unobjectifiable, unexperienceable, you can say also, imperceptible, you can say. Anyway, so dhiya anikshaha, it is not known by the buddhi. It cannot be known through the buddhi. So this is third feature. Fourth, dhi vapuhu. This vapuhu, that is not clearly printed, so you can make it clear. Vapuhu. So, the very intellect is like the body for the antaryami, like the medium for the antaryami, through which the antaryami acts. Antaryami interacts through the buddhi, and therefore the buddhi is called the body of this antaryami. So, antaryami does not have a separate medium for interaction, it operates through the buddhi itself. So, buddhi becomes vapuhu, shariram, medium of operation. Okay, this is the fourth feature. Fifth feature, diyam antaha yamayati, and residing within the intellect, well, the antaryami impels, yamayati, impels, activate, controls the buddhi. So it is now, so five features, once again I will repeat. So it is in the buddhi, it resides in the buddhi. One, it is within, or it is the essence of the buddhi. It is hidden in the buddhi. It is behind the buddhi. Sometimes acharyas use this way, it is behind the chakshu. It is behind the ears. Means it is the essence of that. It is hidden in that. It is within as its essence. Third, it is not experientiable. It is not knowable. It is not known through the buddhi. Fourth, the buddhi itself is a medium for the antaryami to interact. And fifth, it controls the buddhi by remaining within the buddhi. So these are the five features of the antaryami. And the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad repeats this at all levels. All levels. In Adhyatma, in Adhibhuta, in Adhidaiva. Taking examples, so the whole world has to be told. He is Antaryami, Sarvantaryami, right? Yeshaha Antaryami Sarvasya. Prabhavapyo hi Bhutanam, etc., etc. Anyway, what I am saying is, so they have to mention each and everything. In Adhyatma also, how many, all sense organs and, and organs of action and prana also has to be mentioned, and then mind and intellect and everything has to be mentioned. That's just Adhyatma. And Adhibhuta means what? My God. Every object has, so five features of Antaryami and with respect to any object in the creation you can do. So in the level of Adhibhuta, several, whole world is there. And then Adhideva, so many Devatas. With respect to every Devata, Ishvara is Antaryami. So anyway, but Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has taken few examples from all the three and has been mentioned. And with regard to Prithvi, I am just saying like that, Prithvi, earth. So it says there, so it is in the earth, and then it is within the earth, it resides in the earth, the first thing. It is within the earth as its essence, means essence of the earth. Then third, it is not objectifiable by the Prithvi Devata, and the Prithvi Devata is a medium. Fourth is Prithvi Devata is a medium for the transaction, and fifth, it controls the Prithvi Devata. That is the Ishvara, Antaryami, with respect to Prithvi Devata. So this is how Prithvi Whenever you see anything, you see the five features. With respect to that earth, then you can find Antaryami is present there. So for all Adhyatma, you have to extend it to eyes, ears, mind, etc., prana, everything. And you have to take these five features. So for every devatas also, you have to take all the five features. And for every object in the creation, you can take all these five features. And then after mentioning few of them from every, this one, from Adhyatma, everything, then lastly, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says the mantra itself has all the five features. Last mantra is, Upanishad makes a general statement. Yaha sarveshu bhuteshu tishtan. 1. Sarvebhyaha bhutebhyaha antaraha. 2nd. Sarvani bhutani na veda. 3rd. Yasya sarvani bhutani shariram. 4th. Yah sarvani bhutani antah yamayati. Eshate atma amrutah antaryami. Eshate atma antaryami amrutah. That is the mantra in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It has all the five features. Yah sarveshu bhuteshu tishtan. First. So, one which resides in all the beings. Why all the beings? You can take even all the objects also. Sarvebhyaha bhutebhyaha antaraha. So here bhuta can be taken as what exists also. Bhuta can be taken as living beings also. Bhuta can be taken at what exists. So all sentient, insentient, all. Bhavati iti bhutaha. Which is there, which is existent, sentient, insentient, both. So sarveshu bhuteshu tishtan, one which resides in all the sentient, insentient beings. Sarvebhyaha bhutebhyaha antaraha, one which is within all the things, sentient, insentient, as its essence, as the essence of all. And then sarvani bhutani yam sarvani bhutani na veda, and any sentient or insentient being cannot know this antaryami. It is not objectifiable by them. And 4th, yasya sarvani bhutani shariram, and all these sentient, insentient beings are the medium for its interaction, of a antaryami. So they are all the shariras. Basically, every object ultimately is a sharira for antaryami. That's how it becomes Virat also. Antaryami becomes Virat. Anyway, and the 5th one is Yaha Sarvani Bhutani Antasan Yamayati, Antaha Yamayati, which controls all the beings, sentient, insentient, everything. Eshate Atma, that is this antaryami, this Ishvara is your Atma, is you. Antaryami Amrita. This is how it has been given. Ishvara is there, okay, Ishvara is there. That is not Upanishad. Upanishad says that antaryami is you. Eshate Atma, that is your Atma. There is no difference between you and Ishvara. Anyway, so that all pervading inner controller with these five features is called antaryami. And so here it says Dhyam antaha yamayati iti evam vedena ghoshitam. Vidyaranya says. So Vidyaranya Swamiji himself explained this, 5 features now. Dhyam antasan yamayati, which controls this buddhi, being inner, residing inner of this Dhyam. Vedena Goshitam, it is proclaimed by the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now he is explaining each of these 5 features in detail. First feature will be explained in the now verse number 165. What is that first feature? Well, we have seen that Buddhau Tishtan, one which resides in Buddhi, or one which resides in every being. That will be explained. That what is the meaning of this? Then the second feature, then the third feature, etc. Let's read the verse number 165. Tantuh pate sthito yadvat upadanataya tatha sarvopadana rupatvat sarvatrayam avasthitah. So here it has been explained the first feature. Let's take that general mantra of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad which I read. Sarveshu bhuteshu tishtan. That was an example, buddhau tishtan, etc. But general statement is sarveshu bhuteshu tishtan. Not just residing in buddhi, residing in every being. So Ishvara resides in all. Other word for Antaryami is Ishvara. Why? Because the meaning is same. Antasanyamati, one which controls. Ishvara also means one which controls. Ish dhatu means to control, to rule. Varach, one who is a constant controller. So that is one who is a always controller, which cannot be controlled. There is no he is never a control. He is never controlled. He is all the time controller. Has been indicated by the pratyaya called varach. Varach pratyaya. So that chakara has to be removed. Otherwise you will say Ishvarach. It is not Ishvarach, not Nashvarach, Bhasvarach. So it is all chakara has to go, vara has to be kept it. Ish plus vara, Ishvara. Nash plus vara, Nashvara. Bhas plus vara, Bhasvara. Anyway, so that vara indicates, vara means satatya bhavi. So it is all the time. All the time. He is a ruler. Ish means rule and vara means constant. So he is a constant ruler. And Antaryami also is controller, right? Inner controller. So Antaryami is, the other word for Antaryami is Ishvara. Anyway, he resides in all the beings. So what is the logic? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad does not give logic. It makes a statement. It just defines Ishvara like this or Antaryami like this. But Vidyaranya Swami gives a reason. What does it mean, One which resides in all the beings means what? And how can you say like that? So he is giving a reason, logic for that. He says, see, Karanam must be residing within every Karya. So the gold, is residing in all the ornaments. Gold is behind all the ornaments. That way also you can say. Clay is behind all the pots. Wood is behind all the furniture. And so Karanam definitely resides in the Karya. Is inherently there in every Karya. And so Vidyaranya gives an example. Yadvat tantuhu pate sthitah. He gives an example too. So if you want to prove something, you have to first take an example. That is a method of doing. That's a method of doing. Because ultimately in building any Anumanam, example has to be there ultimately, right? And therefore, a very, very popular Anumana Vakyam we know, right? And that is Parvato Vanniman. that is all the time. That's our standard of our example. Parvato Vanniman. Dhumavatvat. Yatha. Yatha means example. Yatha Mahanase. Yatha Yagashalayam. Yatha Rasodayam. Yatha Kichenayam. Etc. etc. So you have to take, ultimately, see, the logic involves you have to show some rule. A rule. It's an invariable concomitance between the two. Invariable relationship. That's a rule. Invariable relationship between the two. To prove that an invariable relationship or to constitute a invariable relationship between two things, you have to take an example. Several examples. So like in kitchen, I saw the presence of fire and the smoke. Then in Yagashala also I saw the presence of fire and the smoke. In forest also I saw the presence of fire and the smoke. Therefore, so make a rule now. So wherever the smoke is, there the fire is. You have to be very careful, okay? Because don't say wherever there is fire, there is smoke. No. No. That's not the case. Where is not the case? So in my cooking range here in this kitchen, Okay, I have a cooking range here and it's an electric cooking range. Fire is there. That's how I am able to make tea, right? But there is no smoke. Okay, unless the milk gets overboiled and it comes out. Okay, otherwise there will no smoke, and that smoke does not belong to fire. That smoke belongs to actually milk, burnt milk, and therefore, so we have to be very careful. So yatra yatra dhumah tatra tatra vannihi, because in the kitchen, in the forest, in this and that. So example is the first criteria. From there you will have to come to that invariable relationship. From there you have to come to a place where you want to prove fire. What is the place? That's a mountain, right? Parvataha Vanniman. So Parvata, that's a place where I want to prove something. It's called Paksha. It's called Paksha. And so Parvata is a Paksha where I want to prove what? Fire. Anyway, so Parvato Vanniman. Vanniman is a sadhyam. That's the thing which I want to prove. Then give reason. Because there is a smoke. So what? Right? Mountain has fire. Because there is a smoke. See, this is Anumanam, right? So this is because when you say, this is all Anumanam. Argument. You give a reason. And then how can you say where if there is smoke means fire? Well, yatra yatra dhuma tatra tatra vanni. Wherever there is a smoke, there is fire. How do you say that? Oh, I have seen it several places. You can also check. We can say that. Anyway, so this is how it is. So Anumanam has Panchavayam. So they always tell 5 things. So this example, Drashtanta is there, and then Vyapti, that rule, invariable relationship rule is there, and then Paksha and Sadhya and etc. etc. So all this, and so Nigamanam ultimately. Anyway, so this is how, so here also, I mean, we are proving Antaryami. We cannot, nobody can see Antaryami. Nobody can see Ishvara. That we have already discussed also. So anyway, here he is taking first the example. Yadvat tantuhu pate sthitaha. Pataha means a cloth. In all the cloths, what is common? Tantuhu sthitaha. Tantuhu means the thread. Thread must be there. Sthitaha, it must be there. So, so every cloth, behind every cloth there is thread, which is the upadana karanam of every cloth. And therefore, Antaryami being upadana karanam, it should be behind all the karyam. So, Antaryami must abide in the creation. Because you are saying Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtan. It resides. Antaryami resides. Ishvara resides in entire creation. Every object. Sentient, insentient, everything. Being and things. So anyway, so then, the example is like a thread resides in cloth. Clear? So like a thread resides in a cloth, same way Ishvara resides in whole creation. So, but the thread is a cause of the cloth. Okay. So same way Ishvara also is a cause of the whole creation. And therefore Ishvara resides in whole creation. So, and so tantuhu pate sthitaha, and clearly he says very clearly upadanataya. So tantu, the thread, resides in the cloth as the material cause behind the product. Tatha. Well, now come to our point. In the same way, like in example, like here also, sarva upadana rupatvat, this Antaryami Ishvara being the upadana karanam of everything, sarva upadana rupatvat. Ishvara is a material cause of everything, and therefore, well, sarvatra avasthita, ayam sarvatra avasthita, ayam Antaryami sarvatra avasthita. This Antaryami resides everywhere. Natural material cause resides in all the effects, totally. So in the whole cloth, this tantu will be there, thread is there. So this is how first feature has been explained. And this has been told in Bhagavad Gita also in the 7th chapter, as I told you, right? That the 7th chapter describes Antaryami. Etad yonini bhutani sarvanityupadharaya aham kritsnasya jagatah prabhavah pralayas tatha. Aham kritsnasya jagatah. Of Krishnam means entire. I am the Prabhavaha. I am the one who is a creator of the entire universe. I am the one in whom the whole creation resolves. Pralaya. That's proof. That's a proof of material cause. Yeah. So I am a creator. Yeah, the creator can be anything, need not be upadhanam, right? In fact, it is not. Like carpenter creates a furniture. But furniture does not resolve into carpenter. And so, prabhavaha pralayaha. So, I am the creator, means I am the one from whom whole creation comes. And pralayaha, in whom the whole creation resolves. This prabhava pralaya, so proves that he is a material cause. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Right? Mai sarvamidam protam sutre mani gana iva, Bhagavan says. I am a thread-like thing in all these beads, all names and forms. I am the thread. I am the essence. I am the upadan. I am the material, all the names and forms. Without me, names and forms could not exist. That's the material, without which effect cannot exist. That is the material cause. Clear? So, let's go to verse. So, first feature has been explained in this. Now, second feature. 166. Patadapyantarastantuhu tantopyam shurantarah antaratvasya vishrantihi yatra savanumiyata. Tantorapyam shurantara. I'm sorry. Tantorapyam. That rakara, not just rakara, there's a full ra. It's been there. Tantorapyam shurantara. Okay. Now, so every material cause will be there behind the effect, and therefore the thread has to be there behind the cloth. And so thread is considered antaraha, within the cloth, because it is upadana karana. So, but we find that the thread itself is not the ultimate cause, but itself is a effect. That's what he is explaining. So, even though thread, why antara, material cause, why you call it antara, inside? So, that is been explained. So, like thread is a material cause of this cloth, but then definitely, so thread is inside the cloth, one thing. But then thread is not the ultimate cause, because itself is a effect. So even though thread is a cause of the cloth, but thread itself is a product made up of several fibers. And so fibers joined together makes a thread. So thread itself is a effect, and its cause is even smaller, subtler than the effect. And that is called fiber. Fiber is a cause of the thread. Thread is a cause of the cloth. And so fibers compared to that thread, smaller, subtler. And that fiber he tells it as a amshuhu. So cloth, patah, tantuhu, thread, and amshuhu. Amshuhu means fiber. So amshuhu is more interior to the thread naturally. So, and we will understand it, what is this antaraha, but you can understand, as such appreciate. The cloth is very, very, very perceptible to you. Compared to that, thread is inside. Compared to that, well, even the thread is made up of fibers, which is more inside, etc. Interior, you can say. So, within the cloth is thread, within the thread is the fiber, and then, the fiber itself is innermost thing for this, means fiber is the final cause of this thread, of this cloth? No, because fiber itself is a product born out of cotton. So the cotton is very interior. Interior means you cannot immediately perceive, right? So more you go towards, my idea is, more you go towards the cause, then slowly it is becoming imperceptible, not easily perceived. Now you see the cloth and immediately you can't appreciate cloth. You immediately can't appreciate cotton. Clear? So cotton is antaraha. You have to just little think over. Yeah. Thread you may immediately find out. Compared to thread, fiber is more interior. I mean, it's interior, let's say. And compared to even fiber, cotton is interior. Okay. So cotton becomes still interior. That's in the fourth layer, right? So from cloth you go to thread, from thread you go to fiber, from fiber you go to cotton. Now cotton is ultimately most interior for the cloth. Means that is the final material cause? No. Now here you have two roads. From cotton up to cotton you don't require anybody's help. Now either you take a Shastra's help or either you go by modern science. There are both the ways to find out a final cause, right? Of course, science cannot find out the final cause, but there is a method they have developed. So we can go in any direction, take in any direction. Either can go by Shastra, either you can go by modern science. So if you go by Shastra, well, definitely cotton itself, of course, is a fact, is born out of, tree, right? Cotton plant, I mean. And tree, for tree or a plant, of course, the cause is a earth. And for the earth, the cause is you know very well. For the earth, the cause is water. For the water, the cause is fire. For the fire, the cause is ultimately this air. And for air, the cause is Akasha. And for Akasha, the cause is Maya. For Maya, the cause is, don't say that. Don't say that. Ishvara. Why? When Maya comes, you always have problem. We have seen Swamiji. When Maya comes, you have all the time problem. Because Maya is non-separate from Ishvara. You have a choice. Either to say Maya is a cause, either to say Brahman is a cause, if both are independent. If they are not independent, what will you say? Yeah? If Maya is a non-separate from Brahman, so I may say Brahman is a cause, or Ishvara is a cause. I may say Maya is a cause. What is the problem? If they are independent entities, definitely if I say one thing, then you may object that Swamiji, the other is a cause. But it's not like that. But then okay, but Maya resides in Ishvara, that you can say or not. That is my temporary statement. What are you speaking? What are you speaking? Maya is there in Brahman. Then if Maya is there in Brahman, then Maya is a part of Brahman. Maya is a product of Brahman. Maya is a property of Brahman. What is that? Decide. Maya is not a part of Brahman because Brahman is partless. Clear? Therefore, Maya is not part. Maya is not product of Brahman because Brahman is not a cause of anything. Then Maya is a property of Brahman, but Brahman is free from any attributes. Anything which is an attribute is never a subject. Anything which is attribute is always an Atma. This my statement, please try to shake it. How can you say Brahman has attributes? Oh Swamiji, we have seen. Over. We have seen the properties in self, in Brahman. Then it is an object of knowledge. Therefore, Brahman, the subject, has to be free from attributes. Anything which has attributes is object of knowledge. One. Second, anything, yesterday only in Gita class I explained that. anything which is attributes is subject to change. Even either because attributes resides in a substance, and therefore, so when attribute is there in the substance, even if you don't do, that undergoes a change. Take a red rose, keep it, don't do anything, just keep it on one side and see after 4 days, oh Swamiji, it has now become faint or this or that. So the substance undergoes a change. Anything which is attributes undergoes a change. And Brahman, we can't afford to say Brahman is changing constantly. Then if Brahman is changing constantly, before you close the books, I will close the books. It's better to eat and food and get sleep. We should forget about this moksha business. Oh, Swami, I want to know Brahman. For what? Now I want to gain moksha. Is it nityam or anityam? Anitya moksha? You want anitya moksha? Brahman is free right now, but it is going to change later. It is going to be a limited entity. It is going to be bound. Then I am not interested to know Brahman. Even if you tell 1,000 times that you are Brahman, I am not going to accept it. Who is interested in a anitya vastu? Then it is better to eat very good dal vada, etc., and then be happy. That's better. Happiness, whatever, after doing all this sadhan chatushtaya sampatti and all this, and shravanam mananam and that too with you, my God, it's enough. No one is interested in a temporary happiness, temporary security, nothing. You want something infallible in your life. Therefore, you can't afford Ishvara to be changing or Brahman to be changing. Therefore, Brahman should be free from attributes. Okay? And if it is free from attributes, it means Maya is not an attribute of Brahman. Maya is not a product of Brahman. Maya is not a property of Brahman. Then Maya and Brahman are one thing. You are not able to understand. If Maya and Brahman are one thing, Maya is inert and Brahman is consciousness. And nowhere in the Shastra has told, sometime let's use word Brahman and sometime let's use word Maya. Let's for a change. It never happens that way. And therefore, Maya and Brahman are not identical. Maya and Brahman are not independent to each other because Brahman says, Ekam eva advitiyam. Main akela hu. What is this Maya? This is how it is. What is this Maya? It is not independent of Brahman. It is not a part of Brahman. It is not a product of Brahman. It is not a property of Brahman. They are not identical also. Then there is no Maya at all. You are experiencing the whole world. And established by Shastra, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram, clearly told. Brahman is Brahman. No names and forms can come out of it. All things have come from unmanifest. What is that unmanifest? What is that unmanifest? Brahman is not unmanifest, it is self-revealing. What is that unmanifest? The unmanifest must be Maya. Where is that Maya? This is how it is. That is how it is. Say Ishvara. Okay? No, but then Ishvara cannot, you said, yeah, that's how we say. This is all Anirvachaniyam. That's how it is Anirvachaniyam. The word Maya indicates it is Anirvachaniyam. Anyway, what I am saying is, ultimately, either you say Maya, either you say Ishvara. Same, no problem at all. Don't worry about it. So Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam, and that is how it's been. Brahma Sutra also defines Jagat Karanam. Ishvara Jagat Karanam. Brahman, definition of Brahman is given as Janmadhyasya Yatah, from whom the whole creation has taken a birth and sustained by that and resolved into that. Even Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhrigu says same thing. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayante abhisamvishanti tad brahma, not tad maya. Very beautifully said. Definition of Brahman has been given. Because the creation and Maya is not explainable. Don't think really the creation takes place. If really creation takes place, real Maya is there somewhere. Then real Maya, well, we have to categorize them. Is it a product? Is it a property? Is it a part? What? Somewhere you have to keep it, somewhere you have to fit it. If you can fit then Maya word we have to withdraw. Maya means anirvachaniyam. Right? Anirvachaniyam. Cannot be categorized. Intellect cannot understand with a certain category. Intellect cannot, brand it with a certain category. That kind of a thing it is. So that's how that in Vivek Chudamani we have, we are seeing right now. This same thing. Sannapya ubhayatmikano, bhinnapya ubhayatmikano, sangapya nangapya ubhayatmikano, eshate anirvachaniya rupa maya, adbhuta, eshade adbhuta anirvachaniya rupa, etc. That is in Vivek Chudamani very beautifully explained this kind of a thing, which cannot be categorized. That's how word maya is used. Some cause, something is there. Something, ultimately, this is how. Something is there by which the whole creation has come, which is the Shakti, power of Ishvara. So anyway, so here it says, so ultimately we have two paths, right? From cotton. So cotton, well, ultimately, the Shastra says, the ultimately, Ishvara alone is a cause for the cotton. And from cotton, well, fibers and thread, and then pataha, cloth. And well, of course, so, and the later will be always should be interior to the farmer. That's how it is, right? Clear, right? Compared to cloth, of course, the tantu is interior. Compared to tantu, the fiber is interior. Compared to fiber, this cotton is interior. Compared to cotton, then, well, other things are interior. All this akasha, up to that is interior. And later one is a karanam, former one is a karyam. That is how we have to understand. Now, if you go scientifically from cotton, this is our Shastra's method, then they will also have that kind of a thing only. So scientifically, well, from cotton, well, they will go to molecule. From molecule, well, go to the atom. From atom to subatomic particles. And so, and that is their search has not ended, because Shastra has to talk about the Karanam of the entire universe, right? I have told you. And they are independently, without the help of Shastra, they are trying. And therefore their search will go on. From subatomic particles is a effect. Then something else is a cause. And from there, that is all the effect. Then something else is a cause. So they will find. They will try to find. Their search is on and on. Anyway, so now Vidyananda Swami asks, what will be the ultimate cause? Which itself is not an effect. Because the journey has to come to end. So it's the ultimate cause which is not an effect. So, because if what will happen otherwise, you will have to ask for the cause, and therefore the innermost essence has to be the ultimate cause, and a causeless cause which is not an effect. So he says here, patadapi antaraha tantu. So interior to the cloth is the thread. Tantoho api antaraha. Amshuhu. Amshu means the fiber. Fiber is the interior to the thread. Why interior? Upadana karanatvat. Because fiber is the material cause of the thread, and like that you can go further. So you yourself can inquire and probe further into the cause. Its cause, and and try to find out the ultimate cause. Otherwise, every day morning I will find you that you are really searching again cause and cause of the cause. Ultimate cause is one which should not be in effect. That's just common sense. So what is the culmination of this inward journey? The journey from Karyam to Karanam, the Karyakarana that internal journey, where should it end? Well, scientists themselves are struggling. They want to find out what is the ultimate stuff of the universe. But Vidyaranya Swamiji says, well, we can find out that, and that ultimate cause, which is not an effect, is Antaryami, which is most interior. Because cause is always interior to the effect, and therefore the ultimate cause must be the most interior, called Antaryami. That's how it is. So ultimate cause should be named as an Antaryami. So, and scientists, we say Antaryami is a cause. You can find what it is. We have already named it Antaryami, okay? Like that way. So we have named it. Anyway. And Antaryami is Ishvara for us. It is very simple to understand, but for them, of course, that ultimate cause is well, they will have to find out. And so, Antaratamatvam Antaryami Yatra Asau Anumiyatam. So, may you infer actually that Antaryami, Antaratamatvat, which is most interior naturally, it is a Karanam. How can you say Karanam? Because Shastra says that it is a Karanam for the entire creation. If it is a Karanam, then it should be most interior. So, Antaratamatvat Antaryami. So, if it is most interior, we have to call Antaryami. Yatra aso anumiyatam, may you infer that ultimate cause. Aso means this final cause. Anumiyatam means may it be inferred by you. Then the question comes, why should Vidyaranya Swami ask us to infer that? Because we can't see. Therefore he says that, yeah. Because why can't we use Pratyaksha Pramana to know the ultimate cause? Why should we use Anumana Pramana? So that question will come. Vidyaranya Swami gives an answer. Pratyaksha Pramana can reach, only up to 1 or 2 levels. Afterwards it won't work. And beyond that particular level, the cause becomes, invisible, not available for Pratyaksha. Like up to, I don't know, molecules also, I don't think they have seen. That also they are inferring from some, I'm sure, at the scientist I'm saying. So, if you say no, molecule is visible, okay, then atom, its cause is not visible. No, atom also we are seeing with the instruments. Okay, suppose. Then subatomic particles you are not able to see. Like that. And subatomic particles we are able to see. Suppose. Then the energy, etc. is not, that you have to infer, which is invisible. So anyway, if you manage to, so ultimate cause must be inferred. That's what we mean. In fact, after 1 or 2 level itself, inference starts in science. 1 or 2 levels itself. So, you take a pot, clay, then, you say, clay, of course, is all grains, etc. So, grain you are able to see, and still you break, and you are able to see with the instruments. And then you go to the molecular level, atomic level, then you have to infer that it is there. So, this is how it is. So, then ultimate cause must be what? Is not perceptible, must be inferred. That's how he says asau anumiyata, that ultimate cause, Antaryami, etc. should be inferred. So up to certain point, up to certain cause, it is pratyakshan. But then the cause of that one will become imperceptible. That is what he says in the next verse. We'll just read and then we'll stop. Dvitryantarattvakakshāṇāṃ darshanepyayamāntarah navikshate tato yuktihi shrutibhyameva nirnayah. Anyway, we will see that meaning of this verse day after tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.